Hey guys, Bix Weir, RoadtoRoota.com. I got a little update on YouTube. I sent out a little message this morning to my RoadtoRoota subscribers. The email subscription service, it's free. Go to RoadtoRoota.com. And I said, what's your thoughts on shutting down the comments section on YouTube? Overwhelming response saying, yes, we don't need that kind of negativity. And I kind of agree. When I first set up RoadtoRoota in 2010, I'd been working with GATA for 10 years by then. Started with Bill Murphy and Chris Powell and those guys in 2000, fighting the silver fight. And I knew there were trolls out there back then and paid people and government people, shall we say, who would purposely go into chat rooms and try to squash the gold and silver story. Same thing carried over when I went live with RoadtoRoota in 2010, January of 2010. For all you subscribers who've been with me for the 7 years, what a wild ride. Thank you for sticking with me and Roota and the story of the good guys trying to take out the bad guys. But the bad guys have a lot of tools, and the banks have a lot of tools. They pay armies of people to go out and troll on the comment sections of YouTube channels, on forums. That's why RoadtoRoota.com does not have a forum. I opened up a forum in the very early days. I could tell right away it was not going to go well. And mainly because it's not that I can't fight the fight against these guys. Most of their comments and criticisms are very easy to counter. It's that I don't have the time and energy. It's so draining. And it sucks the good stuff out on the RoadtoRoota, especially because it's such a positive message about the future, about where we're going, where we can go. It's not going to be easy. No one's coming to save us. We're going to have to save ourselves. But there are people within the government who are helping us to do that, which is awesome. And I think the word is spreading, and the Trump election was very important. It's not what you see on TV. It's not the good or bad things you see on TV. What's happening behind the scenes is what's important. And the bad guys have been taken out for the most part, but there are still embedded factions all over the place because they've been in charge for over 100 years of the United States. I would say going back at least to 1913, probably I would say 1910 was kind of the time when the bankers were given the power to control our monetary system. Because of the gold found in the Grand Canyon, it would have destroyed the system. And so they've been given this power, and having run it for so long, the unbacked fiat monetary system, we have become dependent upon the rule of these bad guys. And when we take them out, everything is going to be insanely difficult to deal with and fix. That's why I'm really excited about the cryptocurrencies and the businesses related to the blockchain technologies that are being invented every single day. Every day you're seeing a new ICO. Most of them are going to be worthless. But there's going to be your Amazons and your Facebooks and your Googles out there that are going to change the world, and we need something to shift over to. We can't just say, hey, crash the system and let's go back to a gold and silver standard. It's not going to work this time. It has worked in the past. Of course it has, historically, because everybody had gold and silver. We never fully went off a gold and silver standard, and a whole generation has forgotten about the necessity of gold and silver. So it'll be a retraining type of situation if the current system crashes now. And that retraining will be, either convince people and tell them that they are required to use gold and silver as money, or say, okay, you have your choice. You can use gold and silver if anybody would accept it, but you can also use cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, new Bitcoin Cash is out there, which who knows if that'll survive. Cliff High says he's a little positive on it. He's got a new report coming out next week. And I think, all the cryptos, it's a different world. It's a completely different economic system that is growing up right next to, in parallel with the old corrupt system. And this new system is going to be honest. We've been through this. So the paid, back to the paid trolls, I am officially announcing today that I am no longer posting the comments section on my videos. It was overwhelming majority of my subscribers at RoadtoRoota.com said, get rid of these people. It's not worth the time, effort, and energy, and it's taking away from the positive message of the Road to Roota. And I'm not trying to hide anything at all, but I also don't want to expose myself to these trolls either. I mean, they're a bummer. They're downers. But you can do whatever you want out there. Road to Roota platform, the YouTube channel, is not a place where you can air your grievances about anything you want anymore. And that's what they were doing. But a lot of it was from the paid bashers of the Road to Roota theory, of the paid bashers of those advocating for a new system outside of the bankster system. I can't tell you how many countless hundreds of people hired by companies like JP Morgan just to go and troll the websites. So no longer at Road to Roota will you be able to do that. My friend JSnip4, Joe's YouTube channel, he's been getting trolls, all kinds of trolls. Now he gets into the battle, and if you want to fight a fight, go fight Joe. He'll beat your butt. But most of Joe's people actually come to Joe's side and fight for him on the website, so it's easier for him to get involved in the comment section. For me, it's just, the Road to Roota theory is so complicated, and you really have to do a lot of study to understand how the people behind the scenes are attempting to take down the monetary system to implement something new. And it's all done with computers and derivatives. I go back decades with the implementation of these computer rigging programs. And it gets back to just a few people within, they weren't even in the federal government at the time, a few people within the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, a guy named Stephen Duveau, who was an expert computer programmer in the 70s, the world-renowned expert on project implementation, which, can you think of a bigger project than controlling the markets via computer programs from the 1970s till today? And then Alan Greenspan, who was a genius computer programmer in the 1960s, and also a genius with economics. His best friend, John Kemeny, was the inventor of BASIC. It's the first shareable computer programming language. And right around when Kennedy was killed, and Alan Greenspan used that programming language to invent our electronic monetary system. He blames himself and people he was working with for the Y2K problem, where they only used 2 digits instead of 4 digits. And that's in his book. All this is documented. My favorite is the Alan Greenspan Apple commercial. Apple Computer hasn't had a spokesman. Steve Jobs was the spokesman of Apple, but there was one other spokesman, and it was the world's most secretive but world-renowned. He wasn't world-renowned. Nobody knew he was programming computers. Alan Greenspan did a commercial for Apple Computer, the Apple IIc. Just go to any YouTube channel and type in Greenspan Apple IIc, and you'll just laugh your head off that Greenspan is talking crap about the government and saying that you can manage your money on a computer better than the government can manage it. But yeah, that's why he was put in charge of the Federal Reserve. All this is Road to Roota stuff. To fight these battles over and over again in the chat rooms and the comment section is it's not worth the time and effort. So, officially, I am announcing that we will no longer have posted comments on the Road to Roota. Go over to JSnip4 if you want to get in a battle. Joe, you should already be subscribed to Joe's channel, and he's a great source for news. A big fan of Cliff High's. Always does an analysis when Cliff does a report. And also make sure you go to the latest interviews that Cliff did with the Steve Nico Williams, the CEO of Populous, PPT, and Reggie Middleton, the head and creator of Veritasium. It's Veritasium, but I always screw it up because it comes from Veritas, the Latin word for truth. Perfect name. But in America, apparently, Reggie said it's called Veritasium, which is the company, and Veritas is the token. VERI is the symbol for that cryptocurrency or crypto token. You wouldn't call it a currency. You'd call it a software platform is what it is. And really interesting interview. It's very different than all the other cryptos out there in the approach that Reggie takes to what is value, and it's not just the dividing the amount the dollar exchange for your share times the amount of shares out there. It's completely different. And I agree 100% with Reggie. He knows what he's doing. When you're in business, you get it. You understand the difference between a market cap and the value of a platform, and the network effect is going to be unbelievable with Veritasium. Call it what you will. VERI is the symbol, and you can only buy it right now, really, on Ether Delta, because all the exchanges know that it could easily take them out as well. And the exchanges and the cryptocurrencies are pretty much run like the exchanges in the real world, shall we say, with pools of assets that are traded back and forth. But none of these are blockchain transactions within the larger exchanges like Kraken and Poloniex and all the exchanges, unless they are like Ether Delta. Those are actually Ethereum blockchain transactions that you do when you exchange your Ethereum for Veritasium. Which is really interesting. It makes the function of Ether Delta a little difficult. So you can kind of shift from the volume of these huge exchanges that are trading all these tokens in the ether, shall we say, in phantom trades. They're only within the exchange. It's not until you pull it out and put it on your own personal wallet is it really a transaction on the blockchain. I've talked about it before, but I just wanted to make this public service announcement, and hopefully it'll take some of the negativity out of the Road to Roota message. And some people may be upset a little bit about it, but if you want to engage in dynamic discussions, go over to Jason F4's comment section and make sure you subscribe and support him. And give him a few thumbs up. He's fighting battles. I think at some point he's gonna cut his comments off too, because he's fairly positive. He's a positive guy, and we need a lot of positivity in the world these days. And the Road to Roota message is definitely the most positive message you'll hear about the economic system. So as of today, as of this video, I am gonna cut off the comments. And anybody interested in joining the Road to Roota, go to RoadtoRoota.com, sign up for free emails. On the left side of the website, there's a free email thing. You put your name and email address, and you get sent a free book, Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God. First book I ever wrote a few years back, and all of it is true about the Road to Roota, the silver, Bitcoin. I think I wrote about it just briefly. I was just starting to learn about it. It's like 3 years ago, starting to really understand how the good guys are going to implement it to run a parallel system. So, really exciting stuff. We're gonna re-inject happiness into the Road to Roota so she can jump up and say, "Yahoo! Things are going well." And it's not fake, and it is not. I'm not going to stop reading things that disagree with the Road to Roota theory, because I always do that, and I'll do that in every news conference or every news press thing I read in the morning for my Horn of Z's The Morning News, because it's important to understand what the bad guys are doing, what the good guys are doing, and sift through what is real and what is not. So there's your message for the day. This is Weir at the Greenhouse, signing out.